14 years, we've had the pleasure of forming a number of jazz festivals around the country, in Canada, over in Europe, the North Sea Jazz Festival. We've been to the Blue Note in Tokyo a number of times, and had the honor and privilege of wasting every good bass player in the world. We have taken Wooten to task, Hazlitt to task, Christian McBride to task, Gerald Beasley. We've gone through a litany of them, and they've all requited themselves quite well. It's a delightful thing to be able to share this book with some of the greatest bass players that are around today. And one of the joys is that when we do the song, I would ask each of them in a live setting to put something in front of the song that we know as Continuum and what Jaco meant to them. And obviously tonight, it's a very special night. This is Continuum. All right, we're going to do another one of Jaco's compositions, and early on when he was kind of sharing his time between weather report and all the breaks, he would come back home. The first call I would get, he'd call me and say, "Hey man, give me a gig." You know, we were doing things over in Sanibel with part of the Jazz on the Green Festival. We were doing stuff down at Gusman Hall and different things. Oh, a flashback. So we're doing a thing down at Gusman Hall in downtown Miami for Pigs. And Ed Bell wants us to do an interview at WLRN. So I told Jaco I'll meet him. He lived up in Fort Lauderdale. I lived in Hollywood at the time. I'll meet you at the Denny's on I-95 in Sheridan. We'll meet there. You get in my car and we'll drive down. Well, he comes tooling in on a motorcycle. And now he's insisting that I ride on the back of the motorcycle with him down I-95 and back, mind you. Visions of my life were flying by. That was a ride I'll never forget, trust me. But one of the songs during that era was punk jazz, and he had already kind of worked it out what he was going to do with Weather Report. But we were going to do a gig over in Sanibel, so he hadn't orchestrated it for the big band. So we're sitting in the bar one night, and he and Larry and I, and they're sitting there, and they're sketching this out on a bar napkin. Larry Warlow goes back to his room, finishes it out, the next day it's on the paper, and we played it at a festival. This is punk jazz. got one more before we get into what we'll call the finale of the evening. And right now I'd like to bring Chef Carswell back up here on stage for that. This is another great song, and Jaco and Laurie put the arrangement, the big band arrangement of this together. And it's always a delight to play. It too is hard. There's nothing easy in this whole book, I'll tell you that. Some of these guys, we don't get to play it all that often anymore. And someone comes up and did we really record this? No, it's that hard. This one is Havana, and we certainly hope you enjoy this.
Without the kid, I'm so disappointed. They play that 1,000. Used to play like almost every night. I saw them for 3 years, every night, every week. I saw them maybe 200 times. Probably 150 of them. Still my favorite song ever. Soccer's best. And this riff. Awesome. They would have taken me away from so many.
Yeah, at this point, everybody's back out here. You've met a number of the soloists through their solos, but I would certainly be remiss if I didn't introduce each and every one of these wonderful musicians to you. In our saxophone section, down on the end, Mr. Mike Brignola on baritone saxophone. Gary Keller on alto, tenor, flute, and clarinet. Billy Ross, alto, flute, and piccolo. And Kai once again in the sack butts here in the middle row. That's a trombone, by the way, sack butt. If you would, from the University of Miami faculty, dear friend and wonderful Polish guide. He guided me to great places in Poland. Mr. Dante Luciani. A number of years ago, I was the bass trombone player in this band until I got so busy doing everything else that I fired myself and I hired this man. Please say hello to John Kerger. It just comes a point when you gotta fire yourself, you know what I mean? The back row, our bugles. One of my favorite trumpet soloists ever, marvelous talent. He teaches out in Arizona now, and in his spare time tours with Yanni, but he's a great jazz player and a dear friend, Mr. Jason Carter. In the middle there, the big barefoot from the frozen tundra of Wisconsin is the only other member, I think, tonight that was on the bandstand at the birthday party in concert in 1981. Please say hello to Brett Murphy. And on the end, a gentleman I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, and it's a delight to have as a lead trumpet player. He's a marvelous player, and a delight, our first time having him with the band, Mr. Ryan Chapman. One of the first things I learned very early on in my career is I'm a horn player, and that's all well and good. But it doesn't mean shit without this over here, the rhythm section. Sorry, pardon my language, but that's the truth of the matter. When it comes to, if you don't have a rhythm section, it doesn't matter how good they are. It really doesn't. And if you would, on keyboards, Sir Mike Levine. You better start with something to get a raise, so, you know. On guitar, if you would, Mr. Martin Hand. And on these things here, once again, Julius Pastorius. In some of our cases, a waste is a terrible thing to mind. Felix! Check cards well. And a gentleman got the opportunity to play quite a bit with Jaco, and we're delighted to have him. He flew in from Portland, Oregon for this one. Mr. Mark Griffith on drums. And his other brother, Julius, back there. Julius, there's a few other people that you have to meet as well. Back there, what it takes to pull something like this off, like Felix was saying the other day, is, you know, trying to put together a trio sometimes can be daunting. Trying to put something like this together. We literally started on this almost a year ago. But if you would, some of the guys that you don't see that are so critically important, back there, the name you saw in film, was Jaco's engineer right from the get-go. Peter Yanalos back there. Our stage manager, a young man that's been with us for many years. He was very close with Larry Warhol. He's been around forever. He's a huge help to all of us. Chris Sorgi, wherever he is. In the house, I don't know all their names, but at least start with Justin Thompson from the Wick Theater. Thank you, Justin. And to the whole Wick family, Marilyn and Kim and everybody and the staff have been terrific, have been helping us make tonight happen. We can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. Okay, Liberty City. Not much else you can say about this one. We're going to get everybody involved in this act.